NFL Nation reporters picked the top training camp position battle for every team. AFC East, AFC North, AFC South, AFC West, NFC East, NFC North, NFC South, NFC West or NFC East. Buffalo Bills middle linebacker first-year coach Sean McDermott had one of the NFL's best defensive players in Luke Kuechly during his tenure as the Panthers' defensive coordinator. There is not a player with nearly the range and instincts as Kuechly on the Bills roster. Incumbent starter Preston Brown, a third-round pick in 2014, has taken all of the first-team reps so far in training camp, but 2016 second-round pick Reggie Ragland, who missed all of last season with a torn ACL, is considered part of the competition. Ragland has run with the second team to this point. Mike Rodak, Miami Dolphins nickel corner. The Dolphins don't have many true position battles in camp, but one to keep an eye on is the nickel position, which is essentially another starter on defense. Incumbent Bobby McCain was up and down last season in the nickel, and the team signed 7-year veteran Alterorn Werner to compete with McCain. Werner has the edge in experience but must learn a new defense quickly to win the job in training camp. This race should be close throughout the preseason. James Walker, New England Patriots inside linebacker, signing a veteran David Harris in June could have a significant trickle-down effect on the rest of the group, as it seems like the coaching staff has big plans for Harris. One indication of this is how Harris was wearing the green dot on his helmet as the primary communicator and leader of the huddle as drills began during the first full pads practice of camp. So with Harris a top candidate to play alongside Dont'a Hightower, what does that mean for other linebackers such as Shea McClellan, Kyle Van Noy, Landon Roberts and Jonathan Freeney? Mike Reis, New York Jets quarterback. More people play on ESPN than anywhere else. Join a creator league in the #1 fantasy football game. Sign up for free. Journeyman Josh McCown is ahead of Christian Hackenberg and Bryce Petty, based on his exclusive work with the first-team offense, but this isn't a done deal. Chances are, Coach Todd Bowles will take 3 preseason games before naming his starter. It'll probably come down to McCown and Hackenberg. There already are signs that Petty is falling out of the race. Rich Chiminia, FC North Baltimore Ravens tight end. This is the most wide-open battle for a starting job. The competition is between Benjamin Watson, who is coming off an Achilles injury, Nick Boyle, who has a total of 24 catches in 2 NFL seasons, Max Williams, who hasn't played since last October because of knee surgery, Larry Donnell, who was signed Sunday, and Ryan Malik, who is on his 3rd team in 2 years. This is what happens when 3 tight ends are already lost for the season: Dennis Pitta hip and Darren Waller suspension and Crockett Gilmore knee. Jamison Hensley Cincinnati Bengals running back. Just how will the Bengals use their running backs now that they have 3 solid options among Giovanni Bernard, Jeremy Hill and Joe Mixon? If the Bengals' history is any indication, Hill will likely exit camp as the starting back. But the talented rookie Mixon could push him every step of the way. Catherine Terrell, Cleveland Browns quarterback. Why should 2017 be different from all the Browns' other seasons since 1999? The Browns won't be a complete team until they identify and nurture the long-term quarterback. Camp opened with uncertainty about whether Cody Kessler, Brock Osweiler or DeShone Kizer would start. The position probably won't clear until mid-August, when the Browns will have to start giving starter reps to one of the 3. Pat McManam on Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver. The Steelers can't count on Martavis Bryant until he's reinstated by the NFL, and with Sammy Coates and Juju Smith-Schuster nursing injuries early in camp, Justin Hunter has impressed with his athletic catches over the first 4 days of camp. When all options are on the field at once, however, plays must be made to earn significant snaps. Jeremy Fowler, AFC South. Houston Texans quarterback Tom Savage is the starter for now, but general manager Rick Smith has said that first-round pick Deshaun Watson is competing for the job as well. It seems more likely that Savage will open the season as the starter, as coach Bill O'Brien has said he has earned it so far, but a big camp from Watson could change all that. The Texans have been impressed with what Watson has done so far and believe he is ahead of schedule from where they expected him to be a week into training camp. Sarah Barshop, Indianapolis Colts middle linebacker. 5 players, including 2 holdovers from last season, are competing for 2 spots at a position the Colts lacked consistency at in 2016. Newcomers John Bostic, Sean Spence and Anthony Walker Jr. are competing with returners Edwin Jackson and Antonio Morrison for the starting job. Bostic and Spence may end up coming out on top, but Walker, the team's 5th-round pick out of Northwestern, could end up surprising a lot of people by camp's end. Mike Wells, Jacksonville Jaguars left guard. Now that left tackle Brandon Albert has retired, the only spot open on the offensive line is at left guard. Taylor Shatley and Patrick Omameh are the frontrunners, but if they struggle it wouldn't be a surprise to see right guard AJ Cann get reps there. With rookie Cam Robinson at left tackle, the Jaguars need some stability next to him. Mike DeRocco, Tennessee Titans cornerback. This was arguably the Titans' biggest weakness in 2016, so naturally, it received the most turnover this offseason, starting with prized free agent signing Logan Ryan, who has one starting spot locked up. The competition heats up on the other side with incumbents LaShawn Sims and Bryce McCain competing with the Titans' talented, long-term solution, first-round pick Adoree Jackson, for the other snaps. Coach Mike Mularkey is seeking consistency from Jackson while giving Sims most of the early camp starting reps because of his experience and 2016 success. Cameron Wolfe, AFC West Denver Broncos running back and wide receiver. Denver has a crowded mix of established veterans and younger players trying to carve out a niche at both spots. At running back, Devontae Booker's injury, he had 2 screws put in his left wrist to help heal a fracture in recent days and is expected to miss 6 weeks, will give other backs such as rookie D'Angelo Henderson and recent arrival Stephen Ridley a chance to show what they can do in the preseason. At wide receiver, the Broncos have 2 draft picks from the class of 17, Carlos Henderson and Isaiah McKenzie, who project to be the team's kickoff and punt returners if things go well in the preseason, so that leaves Cody Latimer and Jordan Taylor fighting for spots there. Jeff Legwold, Kansas City Chiefs left guard Parker Ehinger, who began last season as the starter, is on the physically unable to perform list after tearing his ACL last year. That leaves Ehinger's replacement, Zach Fulton, to battle Brian Vitzman for the starting spot. Fulton has more experience, but the fact Vitzman is getting plenty of work means the Chiefs are hoping for an upgrade. Ehinger's absence isn't likely to be a lengthy one, and he could claim his starting job back at some point during the season. Adam Tesher, Los Angeles Chargers free safety. The Chargers waited until the 4th round to get a safety in this year's draft, selecting Miami product Rayshawn Jenkins. They also drafted versatile performer Desmond King in the 5th round. However, incumbent Dwight Lowery will receive competition for his starting free safety position from free agent addition Trey Boston. Lowery and Boston are splitting reps with the first unit defense so far in camp. Lowery, who is familiar with new defensive coordinator Gus Bradley's scheme from his time with the Jaguars, led the Chargers in defensive snaps with 961 last season. However, Boston adds a little more speed and playmaking ability to the back end defensively. Eric D. Williams, Oakland Raiders middle linebacker, the guy who began last season as the starter, Ben Heaney, is on the non-football injury list. The guy who took over for him, Perry Riley Jr., was not resigned. And the guy who was there throughout the off-season workouts and the first 2 days of camp practice squad survivor Terrell Adams, was replaced by 5th-round draft pick Markel Lee on Monday, the 3rd day of camp. Buckle up, because whichever player emerges with the job will not have a lot of experience as the quarterback of the defense. My job at this point is to bring them to me and I'll coach them, said Raiders defensive coordinator Ken Norton Jr. I've coached Clay Matthews as a walk-on at USC. Bobby Wagner was a 2nd-round pick. KJ Wright was a 4th-round pick. It doesn't matter the uncertainty. It doesn't matter the age or what round they've been picked. Just give me someone who loves ball, who's hungry, who has the right stuff. I will coach the heck out of them. Paul Gutierrez, NFC East Dallas Cowboys left guard and jury could play a big factor in who starts on the star-studded line between Tyron Smith and Travis Frederick. Chaz Green suffered a muscle strain in his shoulder and will be out at least through the Hall of Fame game, which will give Jonathan Cooper the upper hand. They had been alternating days working with the first team early on in camp, with one player doing better one day and the other doing better the next. Cooper has more experience, but Green played well in limited action at tackle a year ago. The Cowboys don't have a timetable on when they will pick a starter, but acknowledge the earlier the better. Green's injury history is something he has not been able to shake. Todd Archer, New York Giants backup quarterback, a rookie 3rd-round pick, will start across from Richard Sherman in Seattle's Legion of Boom. A former first-rounder will emerge again in Carolina. Here are 32 prognostications from NFL Nation. Even if Blake Bortles is bad again, the Jaguars are going to be better this season. And we have the numbers to prove it. Here are 9 more teams that could take a step forward. Back in 2017, it's between Geno Smith and Josh Johnson for the backup job, with rookie Davis Webb playing the role of long shot. Smith is an intriguing name and a player who is receiving a fresh start. But his main competition, Johnson, has full grasp of the offense and is likely the frontrunner for the job. Smith has to prove he can pick up the playbook quickly and play at a high level despite coming off a serious knee injury. Jordan Raanan, Philadelphia Eagles cornerback defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz badly needs a player or two to step up and solidify the Eagles' most vulnerable position group. Jalen Mills and Patrick Robinson are currently the first-team corners, with Ron Brooks manning the slot. Rookie Rasul Douglas and second-year player C.J. Smith will try to make a push for a starting gig this summer. The team is also monitoring the market and will look to bring in help from the outside. Tim McManus, Washington Redskins nose tackle. While inside linebacker remains a battle, Will Compton and Mason Foster typically work with the starters. At nose tackle, there's no one working all the time with the starters. Joey Mbu, Phil Taylor and A.J. Francis all have rotated there. One might win the job, all might get cut. Stacey McGee, among others, can play end or nose tackle. This spot remains the most uncertain on the roster. John Keim, NFC North Chicago Bears cornerback. The Bears signed free agent corner Marcus Cooper in the offseason, guaranteeing him $6 million for 2017. But Cooper has been day-to-day with a lingering hamstring injury, opening the door slightly for former first-round draft pick Kyle Fuller. Fuller, who missed all of last season following a routine knee scope, is thought to be on the roster bubble. Cooper's injury, however, could leave Fuller as the best remaining cornerback of the group to play opposite Prince Amukamara. Jeff Dickerson, Detroit Lions left tackle. I've mentioned this battle a lot in this space over the past week, but Taylor Decker's shoulder injury altered what needed to be decided in camp. It's a wide-open race with Greg Robinson, Cornelius Lucas and Cyrus Kouangio being the main contenders. Other than left tackle, the competition at slot corner will be fascinating to watch. It's essentially a starter position in the Lions' defense, and there are 3 legitimate candidates: incumbent Quandre Diggs, free agent signee DJ Hayden and rookie Jamal Agnew. It's possible whoever finishes third in this competition ends up off the roster entirely. Diggs has the inside edge now, but it'll be a battle to watch throughout camp. Michael Rothstein, Green Bay Packers cornerback. It's possible the Packers could have 2 new starters, Davon House and Kevin King. But don't count out Quinton Rollins just yet. The 2015 second-round pick has taken plenty of reps with the starting defense. Coach Mike McCarthy said not to read too much into the rotations early in camp, but it's hard to dismiss all the snaps the trio has gotten, with the ones so far ahead of Damarius Randall and Ladarius Gunter. Rob Domofsky, Minnesota Vikings running back. The Vikings entered camp expecting a 3-way race among newcomers Latavius Murray, veteran Jerick McKinnon and rookie Dalvin Cook. But Murray's extended recovery from off-season surgery, and an early injury to McKinnon, has given Cook a strong early lead. Cook has done his part by demonstrating strong knowledge of the playbook and competent blocking ability, 2 factors that sometimes keep rookie backs off the field. Kevin Seifert, NFC South Atlanta Falcons right guard. The battle between Wes Schweitzer and Ben Garland is up in the air, as each has received equal reps with the first team while switching off from day-to-day. Expect this to go through at least the first 2 preseason games, considering the 3rd preseason game is when the projected starters get the most work. Vaughn McClure, Carolina Panthers right tackle Darrell Williams came into camp as the starter here, but rookie Taylor Moton is giving him a push. The Panthers are focused on having Moton focus on that position instead of swinging back and forth between right and left tackle as he did during off-season workouts. They are trying to work backup guard Amini Silatolu as the backup to Matt Khalil on the left side. Don't be surprised if they sign another tackle to fill that role if Silatolu doesn't prove worthy. David Newton, New Orleans Saints linebacker. The only guy who seems set in the starting lineup is newly signed veteran A.J. Klein, who has shown off his versatility by playing Sam linebacker in base defense and Mike in the nickel. Meanwhile, veterans Manti Te'o and Craig Robertson are battling for the Mike job in base, and youngsters Stephon Anthony and Alex Anzalone are competing at will. Anthony has drawn some praise while trying to transition to his 3rd position in 3 years. But Anzalone has had a number of flash plays as a 3rd-round draft pick. Mike Triplett, Tampa Bay Buccaneers kicker coach Dirk Koetter was asked his thoughts on the Bucs' position battle to watch, and kicker was his exact response. Veteran Nick Folk was brought in to challenge last year's second-round draft pick Roberto Aguayo, who missed 9 of 31 field goal attempts in 2016 and went 4 of 11 on kicks from 40-plus yards. Both kickers went 4 of 5 on kicks in Sunday's practice. Expect this battle to carry on through the preseason. Jonah Lane NFC West Arizona Cardinals cornerback. This has been the spotlighted position battle since the end of last season. A healthy Justin Bethel has taken the early lead after stacking a handful of good practices on top of each other, but second-year corner Brandon Williams, who started 3 games last season, won't cede the job without a fight. There's a good chance this battle won't be decided until late in camp. Josh Wine-Fuse Los Angeles Rams tight end. The Rams have a talented second-year player in Tyler Higbee, who was drafted in the 4th round in 2016. But they also selected Gerald Everett 44th overall this past April. Higbee, 6'6", and Everett, 6'3", are both athletic tight ends who can stretch the deep middle of the field and are both poised to involve themselves heavily in the passing game. But the targets are up for grabs. Higbee looks like the favorite to start, but he was targeted only 29 times as a rookie. And new coach Sean McVay likes how Everett fits into his offense. Camp will decide how the snaps are distributed. Alden Gonzalez, San Francisco 49ers interior offensive line. Niners will have competition at many spots in this camp, but the group that needs the most clarity is on the offensive line, particularly both guard spots and center. At guard, the trio of Joshua Garnett, Zane Beadles and Brandon Fusco figure to duke it out for 2 spots, while veterans Jeremy Zutter, Daniel Kilgore and Tim Barnes are eyeing the center position. For a group transitioning to Coach Kyle Shanahan's outside zone blocking scheme, the players who show the most athleticism and intelligence will have the inside track on the available jobs. Nick Wagner, Seattle Seahawks running back. The team signed Eddie Lacy in free agency, and HES the favorite to be the team's primary back. But Thomas Rawls has looked good, and remember, he led the NFL in YPC 5.65 as a rookie in 2015. CJ Prosise has a chance to carve out an expanded role if he can stay healthy. And 7th-round pick Chris Carson has opened a lot of eyes through the first week of training camp. He is someone to keep an eye on in the preseason. Last year, 18 different players carried the football at least once for the Seahawks. They're hoping for more continuity this time around. Shail Kapadia